He also used the camera for study. He got some of the walks, things for the Goofy character. Many different things he photographed and he studied afterwards. And like the art class thing, Walt picked up on and said, hey, we ought to get that here in the studio and have everybody do it. So everybody did do it. But Art was the one who did the first work with it. And Art was the fellow who made things happen. I had an interesting experience when we were talking to Herb Lamb, who was in charge of money at the studio in one period. And he was saying, why do we need people to draw pictures when we have a camera? The camera can record everything. Why do we need anybody to draw it? And I started in with a big treatise on the role of the artist in society and things of that sort. And Art got me off and said, wait a minute, Frank, let me tell it. So when you look at me, Herb said, you see more than glasses and a nose and a mouth. You see something that says stubborn. You see something that says aggressive. You see something that says, I'm going to fight for the things I believe in, no matter what. He said, some people think they're kind of crazy, like when he sued the makeup company for 3 cents. But that had some basis to it, you know. The sales tax is just coming in the first time we ever had it. And we understood that the merchant was supposed to pay the tax. But the merchant said, the customer pays the tax. So Art took it to court one day. I don't remember who won the 3 cents. He had real strong feelings and he was pugnacious. Many people, of course, considered this abrasive, and some of them resented his behavior on a lot of things. And I don't know whether this bothered Art or not. I never found out, because he was living his life the way he saw it. He was doing things that he wanted to do, and he was doing it on his own terms. It was more important to him, as has been said here, to be right and to be well-liked. I had a neighbor who told me, surprisingly, 15 years ago, I don't want to be right, I want to be on the winning side. And I thought, well, today's emphasis on ethics and moral values, that would be pretty interesting. The comparison there that Art did always want to be on the opposite, to be right and to fight any length to get that. I think there's an autocratic father in his background. He just said a few things about it, that he always felt he had to prove himself. But he wasn't just going on his own steam. If there was something behind him, said, I got to do this, so I got to do it right. There's so much emotion in his decisions, it was only natural that some of his things should be, his highs should be glorious and his lows should be ordinary. One of his lows was in that film that Bill Hurt spoke about, The China Shop, which when I went to the studio was the laughing lesson that we all had to watch to see how poorly you could plan a scene and the trouble you could get into thereby. What had happened was that the old man who ran the store was going home for the night and he turned to say something to his fancy china dishes, now don't get into trouble. And he opens the door, but for some reason the door opened into the room instead of out onto the street. And Art, I don't know why he accepted the layout that way, but he did. And he first had the guy back up, and the door hit his feet. So he backed up again, and the door still hit his feet. So he backed up another one, and he had an awful time getting out of that room. I think he used half the footage in the picture trying to get out through the door. And that was held up to us as an example of poor planning. Well, that was awfully unkind of him to pick on Art that way, because there was obviously a layout error. What could you do? Plus, the fire department, I think, would have said something about the door opening the wrong way. It's always supposed to open outside. Well, Art had a keen comment on that. He said, it's funny how everybody wants to take credit for my successes. No one will have anything to do with my failures. One of the great things about working in the animation business is the number of great characters that you get to meet and work with over the years. I don't mean weirdos, I mean real characters. And I don't know of any business that attracts them as well as much as animation does. Maybe actors. But then an animator is an actor with a pencil, I've been told. So that would be that would follow naturally. Now, both of these characters made quite a contribution to the emergent form of animation. And I'm not criticizing them when I say that, they're all wonderful guys. Some of them were explosive, some of them were withdrawn, some of them were noisy, some of them were drunks. All of them were argumentative, all of them were egotistical, and yet they all made a great contribution. And I would say that Art was at the forefront of those pioneers because he left his mark. He made a difference from having been here. And he was well known by everybody, just about everywhere, and he'll never be forgotten.